on Thursday was a classic example of how weak officiating can lead to violence. Game 7 minutes away, its tone depends to a large extent on the work of a Canadian referee.
Game 7 of the Canada-Soviet Series, live from Moscow. Brought to you by the Toronto Dominion Bank, the bank where people make the difference. By Gulf Oil Canada Limited, its dealers, agents, and distributors across Canada. By Carling O'Keefe, brewers of O'Keefe Ale and Old Vienna Lager Beer.
Hello again, everybody. Back at Luzhniki Stadium here in Moscow as we wait the arrival of the officials and the teams for tonight's game. And we place a little more emphasis on the arrival of the officials tonight because it plays such an important role in the game 2 nights ago, which caused such a ruckus and a riot and has been the focal point of discussion not only here in Moscow but across Europe and, of course, back home in Canada as well. As the players come out side by side, as with the international theme in the background, they get ready to start game number 7 here in Moscow. The Soviets winning the last 2, 4-2 and 5-2. The last one winding up with the Donnybrook. Rick Lee throwing punches at Xarlamov amongst a number of incidents that took place. And all seems to be peaceful and quiet as we get ready to start game number 7.
Johnny, when they paraded on the ice, Rick Lee and Harmonov walked side by side right through the hallway, talking to each other, and they talked to each other as they skated on. Just great companionship.
At practice this morning, as a matter of fact, they met and they shook hands and they said, well, let's get back on with the hockey game. Now we're getting ready to meet the Canadian players, and first of all, it's goalkeeper Jerry Cheevers, who was just sensational the other night. The backup goalie tonight is Gilles Greton from the Toronto Toros. Ricky Lay, number 2, and the whistles, of course, indicate the displeasure of the Soviet fans for the fact that he is back in the lineup. J.C. Tremblay, the veteran defenseman from the Quebec Northeast, who has been just superb throughout the entire series. Captain Pat Stapleton, number 12 of the Chicago Cougars, who has been equally as effective. Number 17, Rick Smith, who has been teaming up with defense mate Paul Shmyr, and Shmyr has been one of the unsung players of the series. Getting into action now for the first time in Moscow is number 24, Al Hamilton of the Edmonton Oilers, and Jean Houle, number 5, one of the luckiest men on this club who worked those corners so well, with Andre Lacroix, number 7, and we could see a couple of changes in order tonight. Number 8, Tom Webster, real hustler in the corner, is back in the lineup. And they've introduced Gordie Howe, number 9, so they were going to hold Gordie back, but they're going in numerical order apparently, so Gordie Howe is introduced and feels kind of lonesome over there. Young son Mark and the next man to be introduced, followed by number 14, Ralph Backstrom, the two-way plugger who's been having a tough job in center, trying to throw those scoring passes. And back into action is Edmonton's Jim Harrison, number 15. Bobby Hull, number 16, gets the next introduction. There was a question of whether or not Paul Henderson would be playing. He has a sore knee, but he felt that he would give it a try anyway. Number 21, Serge Bernier, Quebec, the real hard-luck guy of the series so far, as far as scoring is concerned. Number 22, Mark Cardiff. Back to Johnny McKenzie. Gets a round of applause from the Canadian fans and, of course, from some of the Soviet fans here as well. Might point out that the referee tonight is from Canada, Tom Brown from Toronto. Number 1, Sidelnikov, the backup goalkeeper who has failed to see action so far in the series. Number 2 is Alexander Gusef. Number 3 is Vladimir Lutchenko, a 24-year-old defenseman. Number 6 is Vasilev, who is probably the most effective defenseman they have. He can do more things. Number 7 is Gankov with a good shot and a real rough defenseman. Number 8 is Sergei Kapustin, a young hockey player who's playing with a broken finger, but can score goals from anywhere on the ice. Yuri Lebedev, number 11, another youngster with great potential. Yuri Lebedev. Number 15, Yakушев. They said he wouldn't play last game that he played, but he was gimpy. He's playing again tonight. Number 16, the great center, Vladimir Petrov. Xarlamov. They said he wouldn't play today either, but he's out there, and he's played with broken bones and a sore head, but he's playing tonight. Number 18 is Vikulov, who's a versatile man because he'll play any of the defense or forward spots. Number 19, Shadrin, a big tough centerman. Number 20, Tretьяк, one of the outstanding goalkeepers in hockey anywhere. Number 21 is Shuttlov, who had an outstanding game last game, his first time out. Number 22 is Anison. Number 24 is Bodunov, Anison's teammate. He's come out of the university team 3 years ago. And number 29 is Sergei Kotov, playing for the first time in this half of the series. And number 32, we have Tюрин. Coach Boris Kalagin, the quiet-spoken coach of the Soviet team, as you saw in the background. We're now getting ready for the national anthems, and then I wouldn't be surprised to see the Canadians skate over to the Canadian end and be greeted by that great Canadian cheering section. See if they can't both put it all together for a big night. But now, ladies and gentlemen, our national anthems of the two countries. So with the playing of the national anthems, the traditional exchange of gifts as the players shake hands at center ice and exchange the pins and the pennants. And as is usually the case in Canada, at least in Europe, the collection of pins is something that really becomes quite a fantastic thing because players collect them and fans collect them and they have them all over their bodies. They must have hundreds and hundreds of them, and it just becomes quite a competition amongst them. There go the Canadian players in their warm-up down at their end, and some of them are waving to the Canadian fans who chant that, "Go Canada, go, go Canada, go." And this is Game 7 of the Canada-Soviet series from Moscow.
Maxie, that picture really brings back memories. Did you ever play hockey outdoors when you were a kid?
Yeah, and I played goal for the Barber College, too.
You remember what it was like? Sweet freezing. Build your own rink. Don't shoot the puck into the corners because you'll lose it in the snow. The best player on our street was a girl. She was the biggest player, too. Hockey sure has changed. And Sport O'Keefe is happy to be participating in this great Russia-Canada series. Enjoy the game.
Getting ready to go now with game number 7. It'll be the referee, Tom Brown from Toronto, Sergei Gushin from Moscow, and Jim LeBlanc from Hamilton, Ontario. In goal, Jerry Cheevers for Canada. Pat Stapleton will be out there on defense, and he is teaming up with Al Hamilton, number 24 from the Edmonton Oilers. The French connection with Bernier at center. Houle on the right side, tied up on the left wing. Petrov, Xarlamov, and Mihайлov, the forward line for the Soviets as Canada gets underway, firing the puck down to the Soviet blue line. Serge Bernier, back to Al Hamilton. Hamilton, who has been very anxious to get into this series, carries that puck inside Soviet territory and then hustles back to his position. Back come the Soviets, led by Gusев down the side. Mihайлov stopped at the line. It's called offside as it was in over the Canadian blue line. There were a number of meetings between coaches and players on both sides yesterday and today. Bernier and Petrov for the face-off. A bouncing puck at center, taken by Stapleton, going in over the line. Putting that pass off to the corner. And he did not see it coming. That was Tardif. Tardif has it in front of the net. Now it's back out in front again with Tardif and Stapleton trying to keep it in. It's at the line and cleared out. As Jean Houle comes back to the line with it. He pulls it away, gets away from Mihайлov. The pass to Stapleton. Over on the right side. Drop pass here now for Bernier. And here it's back to the blue line to Al Hamilton. Hamilton shoots. They try to jam at it. They bang at it. Another shot. And the goalkeeper kicked them out. And the defenseman finally cleared it away. Back comes Mihайлov going in over the line. Gets a pass across over on the wing to Petrov. It's kicked out by Cheevers. Xarlamov inside the Canadian zone, stopped by Bernier. Bernier puts it out at center ice, and they'll be changing players on this move. Back is Al Hamilton at the line. Hamilton up to center ice, all by himself. A dump pass that hits the skate, and it's knocked into the air by Andre Lacroix. And Lacroix is playing out there with Bobby Hull and Tom Webster. Andre Lacroix with Tom Webster on right wing, in place of Johnny McKenzie. Bobby Hull on left wing. The pass back to J.C. Tremblay at the line. Tremblay to Lacroix, and Lacroix loses it. Lacroix has had trouble getting started. Forward pass intended for Lacroix. Goes deep into Soviet territory. Fires it around the boards, and Yakушев is back after it. Yakушев misses the check by Webster. It's out to the center. There's a break down the right side. Here goes Lebedev. Lebedev fakes a shot, passes it across to Shadrin, and Shadrin is taken out of the play by Bobby Hull. Now it's inside the Canadian zone, right out in front of the net. And a great save there by Jerry Cheevers as Yakушев was left wide open.
That's the first good scoring chance that the Soviets have had, and Lebedev laid a flare down Yakushev's stick, and Cheevers watched him come up with the big save here. Just got down in time, otherwise it would have went under him, Johnny.
Pilot back to the blue line, engaged the гаnkов, shoots and that's wide on the net. Over to Lebedev. Lebedev is stopped by Bobby Hull. Now Hull tries to wind up inside his own zone. Shadreen is shadowing him. Pass over to Webster. Webster has trouble. Now Ricky Lee takes a look, decides he'll carry it out. Looking for somebody at center. There's the pass to Lacroix, but he put it into his skates, and they've been doing that all too often. Here comes Lebedev with Yakушев in front. Pass was sliding across. In the corner now it's Ricky Lee. Ricky Lee behind the Canadian net. Drops a pass for J.C. Tremblay. And Tremblay, a good stick handler, ahead to Webster. Webster to Hull. Hull hit his stick and goes up into the crowd.
Oh, the first two shifts, the Russians haven't shown us that great forechecking that time and time again has put the Canadian club in trouble. We've had pretty good puck control down there, but mainly because the Russians are just sending one man in. Now, if we come from behind the play out of our blue line, anything can happen.
Now the play is with the Howe line out, and it's Lutchenko. Puck is batted. It's knocked down as Mark Howe, number 11, turns inside his own zone. A rink-wide pass up to center ice to Backstrom. Backstrom lost control of it and then has to let it slide to the boards. Mark Howe has Gordie Howe, knocks down Anison. Gordie Howe reaching for a pass too far. Mark Howe knocks it back. Listen, breakaway. Backstrom goes in, he shoots. Oh, what a great save. Gordie Howe hits the goalpost. Backstrom on a great shot. And then Gordie Howe came in and hit the goalpost. Lutchenko at center, at the line. Mальцев is hit by Gordie Howe, who takes the puck away from him. Here's a bouncing puck back to the blue line to Lutchenko. Lutchenko's shot is deflected in front of the net. Here's Anison shooting. Scores!
Watch the puck being given back by the Canadian defenseman right out. Instead of dumping the puck in the corner, they slam it right back out through the middle. Watch this. We've got it. Instead of in the corner, shoot it out through the middle. The Russian defenseman is there and lets it go. Screen shot goes in. But I don't know how Gordie Howe missed that great scoring opportunity he had. Backstrom went in on Tretchik.
The Soviets won and Canada nothing. This is Game 7 from Moscow.
Even if I trained until 1976, there's no way I'd make it into this Olympic Stadium in Montreal. I'm just too old. But hundreds of young Canadian athletes will be here with the help from the O'Keefe Sports Foundation. They're helping our kids prepare to meet and possibly beat the best in the world. You know, the O'Keefe Sports Foundation assists more than 35 amateur sport groups. Hey, is that any way to run a brewery? You bet it is.
Now the Soviets have opened the scoring in every game here in Moscow, and they've jumped in front 1-0. Al Hamilton's long pass goes into the corner. Paul Henderson racing in after with Jimmy Harrison. Harrison turning, trying to put it back in front, but that's into a pair of skates, and Al Hamilton has to come back for it. After Canadians missed two great opportunities, the Russians come bouncing right back and score. This time it's Sergei Kapustin at center ice. Kapustin pass to Kotov, to Vasiliev. Vasiliev shoots, and that's high. Comes back on the wing to Kotov. Kotov puts it in front, they shoot it. And Kapustin's shot was blocked by Al Hamilton. Now it's Hamilton taking him into the corner. They're loose in front of the net. The puck is loose, and it's taken off to the side as Al Hamilton has it ahead to Johnny McKenzie, but it doesn't get through, and Jerry Cheevers clears. A 1-0 hockey game as Whitey Stapleton comes out for Canada to his own blue line. At center ice, makes a shot, goes to pass too far, intended for Paul Henderson. Henderson right in front to shoot. Oh, and a great save as Harrison was dropped by Tretchak at point-blank range. A long shot is wide. Goes over on the wing to Xarlamov. Xarlamov is bumped, and Whitey Stapleton comes up with the puck. Ahead at center ice to Bernier too far. This time it's taken by Réjean Houle. Houle bounces it off the boards, gets his own rebound. He stick-handles his way through with Bernier. But Bernier has to wait because Houle would have been offside. Now it's inside the Canadian zone offside. That's usually the way it happens, Howie. You get two great chances, and then all of a sudden, bang, back comes the loose one, and it's in.
Well, watch Henderson throw it out to Harrison. Look at here. And he makes a good try. Look at the left leg of Tretchak. Twice in a row, he just made a fantastic save moments ago off Backstrom, this time off Harrison. guys. Robbing us blind.
Okay, it's Mark Carter. Back to J.C. Tremblay. Around the corner. And it's Ricky Leary trying to bring it out from behind his own net. Stick handling up to his own line. Rushing up there quickly. He fires in, and as he gets in over that red line, the puck goes around the back of the net. It's held back in there now by Bernier. Bernier tries to put it out in front, but the Russian player falls on the puck. And he knocks Cardiff right back into the pile. That was Shuttle-off. But the whistle blows, and they'll have a face-off in the Soviet zone to the left. Billy Howard said that he had planned no special strategy. He just felt that with the officiating crew tonight, with two Canadians out there, they would at least get an even break in the officiating, and that the Canadians would be able to maintain their cool. Xarlamov stopped by Tardif. Tardif puts it back out in front. Taken by Xarlamov. Carrying down that left wing, this great stick handler at the line. A drop pass for Petrov, and his shot is wide. The Russians keep it inside the Canadian zone. It's J.C. Tremblay pulling it down, then losing his balance. Petrov gets up with it. Puts it out in front. It's taken by Houle. Houle with Bernier. Bernier with Tardif on the right wing. Here's a drop pass for Tardif, and he's called offside.
Johnny, I think the Canadians are finally, when they go to the attack, playing wide against the boards. And the Russians are picking up the wing. And this is leaving so much room in center ice. All the good scoring chances we've had have come from center ice because the wings are locked way outside.
Russians certainly haven't taken advantage of that extra 12 feet in width. We have not, but as Howie points out, hopefully starting to. Racing in here goes Lebedev. Lebedev's shot is blocked as Shmyr fell in front of it, but here's the play right in front. They jam at it and shoot it wide with Cheevers out of the net. Back comes Canada, led down the right side by Tom Webster, and Webster was partially hit by number 3, Lutchenko. Puts it right out in front, puts it out again. It's loose in the goal crease, and Bobby Hull couldn't get his stick on it. It's deflected out to the line. Brought out by Shadrin. Shadrin's long pass slides too far, and Shmyr is back in after it. Shmyr around the Canadian net, hits Yakушев. Puck bounces loose at the side of the goal, put it right out in front. Here he is, shoots and scores! Tюрин was left wide open.
Well, you can feel that goal coming. Watch this pass. Just a great pass. Nobody out at the point. And Tюрин just a moment before had that same opportunity to shoot from the same spot, but give it to Shadrin, and he missed. Too many Canadians in the corner chasing the Russian players. Nobody out at the point. There's a great big open area, and the Russian defensemen are just smart enough to move into it. Just a great shot and a great all-round passing play.
Tюрин from Lebedev, and the Soviets are now on top 2-0. Here comes Ralph Backstrom stick handling up the Russian line. He can't get through. Play comes back out to center to Whitey Stapleton. Stapleton hit by his own player. Then Gordie Howe falls over top of him. Tюрин from Lebedev at 13-13 in the first period. Pass over on the side to Gusev. Gusev shoots off the glove of the goalkeeper, Jerry Cheevers. Head now to Mark Howe. Howe down the left wing. Stick handling at the blue line. And it's knocked off his stick. Back out to the line comes Anison, number 22. Anison, he shoots, and that goes off the leg of Al Hamilton. Hamilton goes down as Anison gave him a beautiful fake. Now it's Mark Howe. Ahead to Backstrom, intended for Backstrom. It goes too far. It'll go all the way and will be called back for icing.
Johnny, perhaps a sign of the times. You'll notice when the Russian forwards, their attackers, are sort of waltzing through center ice, they just sent that Gusev shooting down the wing, and he had a great shot. The thing is, the puck, here it comes back here. There's the goal again from another angle. Hey, a good shot, hey, all the way. But Gusev come back so fast, he caught Howe at the blue line. They really flying this afternoon.
So it is a 2-0 hockey game. The Soviets leading, trying to set up Gordie Howe. Howe over to Mark Howe at the blue line. He shoots. Bounces off the glove of Tretchak. Mark Howe's got a great shot. Now it's in the corner. They put it out in front. Forward pass to Vasiliev, the good puck-carrying defenseman, intercepted by Stapleton. Stapleton on the wing. Back out in front to Gordie Howe. Back to Stapleton. Tries to move in, and he slips and fell. The puck bounced loose. It's in the goal crease. And it's cleared out to the blue line. Vikula trying to get by Al Hamilton. And the shot was knocked off of his stick by Hamilton and slid harmlessly wide. This is back out at center to Vasiliev. Vasiliev to Vikula. Vikula, number 18. At the line, works his way in. Knocked off his feet by Gordie Howe. And the play comes back out to Vasiliev. Gordie Howe has been throwing his weight around so far in this game. Back comes Johnny McKenzie. McKenzie throws the pass to Paul Henderson. Henderson going in. Puck in front of the net. And Harrison couldn't get his shot away as he was too tightly tied up. McKenzie coming back with it. Racing out at center ice. This time is J.C. Tremblay bumping it with Bodunov. His shot is taken by Gusiev. It's a 2-0 hockey game, 10:59 remaining in the opening period. Interception now by Johnny McKenzie. He's going up with Mark Howe, one man back. With Paul Henderson, the pass goes in front of the net. But Henderson was being held, and Tretchak came out to grab the loose puck. Soviets coming out to their own blue line. Gusiev back over to the Canadian line as that pass went astray. And it's Ricky Lee on the fines over to Henderson. Henderson trying to get a shot. It's caught by Tretjak. He holds on for the whistle.
Not only is this Russian club very, very alert, just look at this now. Look at this. Fact checker come over here taking McKenzie. Look at Vasilev, how smart he is. He went to Henderson. This club is not only sharp offensively, but defensively, there's just something else. When one man goes to take another one, the other one looks around and sees where the danger point is. And that's there, Vasilev has some defense.
Face off inside the Soviet zone to the right. There's Tardif. Great shot from the point. Right from the face off, and Tretjak blocked that one. Here's Rick Smith trying to get another one away. And the Canadians now holding it inside the zone with Rigahul fighting along the boards with Shadalov. And they get a whistle on the play. Soviets will make a change here. A lot of speculation, of course. A lot of words have been written about what happened in the last game here. And a lot more will be said. Here's Bernier shooting, and that hit the goalkeeper's shoulder pad and went right over the top of the net and out of the rink.
In the games in Canada, everybody told us that we won the majority of face-offs. I found it hard to believe, but certainly in this game here, we've had 3 good shots from winning the face-off.
The linesman making the face-off is Gusiev, trying to get him straightened out. And now it's back inside the Soviet zone, picked off by Bernier. Bernier back to Shmyr, to Rick Smith. Rick Smith over, and Houle is pulled against the boards. Play carries right on. Houle intercepts, tries to put it across, but it wouldn't go through. 9:49 remaining in this opening period with the Soviets leading 2-0. Around the boards, bouncing it off the boards, but not out far enough was Mark Tardif. Xarlamov can't get to it. Taken now by Bernier. Bernier left it there, but it's taken by Petrov. And it comes back at center. Big Vladimir Petrov, number 16. Big wide striding center. Drops the pass here for Xarlamov. What a play. Look at Xarlamov trying to go through. And Rick Smith takes him out of the play. And Smith, on the forward pass attempt, failed on it and had to pin it against the boards to get a whistle.
Johnny, you can see that cotton picket play coming all the way. Mальцев is just, or Petrov is fooling around, sort of lollygagging into center ice, and you see Xarlamov spin around behind him. While Mальцев is going one way, Xarlamov takes off like he's jet propelled. He lays it right on his stick, and he catches all our team going at the same speed. Slow. This is a great play.
Faced off to the left of Jerry Cheevers. Shadrin gets the draw. The puck is loose. It's in front of the goal. Taken out to the side by Stapleton. And Whitey Stapleton works his way over into the corner. Leaves it for Rick Smith, or Rick Lee, rather. Back over to Hamilton, and they tried to feed that forward pass. That was the Soviet player slips and falls, and Tom Webster suddenly realized it would not be an icing call. Then he raced in after it. This is Andre Lacroix bumping in the corner with it. Yuri Lebedev. Lebedev is hit by Bobby Hall. The puck is held in by Pat Stapleton, bouncing just wide of Tretjak. Off the boards to Yakушев. Intercepted by Lacroix. Lacroix holding it in. Fighting for it along the boards, but Yakушев comes out with it to Lebedev. Lebedev, 2-on-2 at the line. Cutting in front, but it's intercepted by Al Hamilton. Hamilton dumps it to center. Number 32, Yuri Tюрин, a newcomer, has the puck inside his own zone. They're just throwing it around till they can get organized. See a little daylight. Now it's Lebedev over on the left wing. He's normally a left-handed shot playing right wing. Lebedev puts it back to the blue line, getting set. Here's a shot. Kicked out by Jerry Cheevers, and it goes over to Bobby Hull. Hull with Pat Stapleton. Back at the net, Lebedev takes a kick at it. Now it's held as Stapleton takes it to the corner with Bobby Hull. There's just jamming it up. Nobody seems to be able to come out of there with it. Till Stapleton gets hold of it and then just dumps it to center. 2-0 Soviets, 7:39 remaining in the opening period. Soviets are not in any rush to start any attack until they are in a good three-man position, as you see right there. Long pass intended for Mальцев is intercepted. Here goes Bobby Hull at the blue line, working his way in, back out in front, intended for Backstrom, and it was off the stick. Here comes Wikulov. Wikulov in front, he shoots. Oh, and Jerry Cheevers had already made his move, and the puck slid off the stick and went in slow motion. Back to the blue line. It's intercepted off the stick of a Soviet defenseman, Vasiliev, and then Hull kicked it. Gusев around the corner to Vasiliev. This is a great defense pair for the Soviets. They even kick their passes around with authority. Intercepted by Backstrom. Backstrom in the corner to Gordie Howe. Howe has Bobby Hull in front of the net. Puts it right out in front. It's intercepted. They tie Howe up too tightly, too often for him to really be effective out there. Back comes Anison kicking the puck forward. Then Gordie Howe ties him up. Mальцев back out to the line, but it's offside as linesman Jim LeBlanc Hamilton makes the call.
I think these Russians are getting awful cocky. You see Anison there, just put the puck out, roll the toe of the stick over, pull it back onto his skate, and then kick it with his back foot up onto his skate. You often see these fellas do that in practice. It works once in a while, but oh boy, when you try that in international competition, you're sure of yourself.
It's Mark Howe stopped at his own line, hit by Sigankov, but they're called offside. Well, there was a lot of political playing back and forth between the various committees of hockey for Canada and for the Soviet Union, each making charges and counter-charges about the other night's game. I must say for the first time that I've heard of the Soviets chastising a Soviet official. Now we come back out to the center red line, picked up by Shadlov, this good young defenseman, number 21, a rink-wide pass. He puts it right out in front to Kapustin. Kapustin getting by Ricky Lee. Lee then takes him to the corner. The pass is back to the blue line to Shadlov. Shadlov into the corner, waiting for it. Comes right back to him. Here's Shadlov. He shoots. That's deflected, and it goes into the corner. Soviets still have it, however, and Canada comes back, led by Gordie Howe. Howe waiting for the wing. The pass over on that left side to Mark Howe, but it was too high. Mark Howe fighting for it along the boards. It's picked off by Backstrom, by Lee. Lee turning over to Mark Howe. Howe works his way to the side of the net to Gordie Howe, to Mark Howe. He shoots, and Tretchak got a glove on it. Back out to the blue line comes Kapustin, racing 2-on-2. A rink-wide pass over on the right side to Kotov, number 29. He shoots, and that hits the side of the net. Another shot there by Bodunov is wide. That puck comes all the way out to center ice with 5:13 remaining in the opening period. Sigankov at the blue line lets the shot go, and Jerry Cheevers turns that aside, including the bouncing rebound. The Soviets are changing on the go as Canada races to center, led over there by Paul Henderson, with Johnny McKenzie trying to get set in front. And McKenzie's turned around. He still has it. And the puck slid off his stick with a shot by Henderson. And he's robbed the game by Tretchak. He's going for the top left-hand corner.
Now watch this here. Henderson just doesn't get enough wood on it. Goes in behind the net, out to Henderson. And it's a flipping puck, but Tretchak gets his hand up easily.
Now it's Jimmy Harrison at center for Canada. The pass comes all the way down into Canadian territory. That'll be icing. Billy Harris has done some juggling. He has Johnny McKenzie out there on the forward line with Jimmy Harrison. and Paul Henderson. Bruce McGregor with the injured leg is not dressed, and Frank Mahovlich is out of the lineup tonight. Harrison. Not ready for the draw, and the Soviets just simply pulled it away. Here comes Gusев, up Lutchenko. Lutchenko at the blue line. Fires it off the boards, and going back in after it is 17, Rick Smith. Smith puts it around the corner, but Petrov picks it up. Petrov around the net again is taken by Mihайлov. Mihайлov is bumped, and the puck bounces all the way down the ice. And this could be called, yes, this will be called for icing.
Pretty good indication of why the Russians are coming out of their end fairly easy once they gain control of the puck. Is Lutchenko had the puck behind the net. He's a big, strong, burly defenseman. But Harrison was right dead center with him, and he just shook him off like a big Newfoundland dog would shake off a little terrier. And he burst up through center and made the pass, and they had a shot at our net. I think that unless we really lean on these fellas, we've been doing that in our own end, but lean on them and don't let them out-muscle us with a puck. We're going to get in trouble.
Serge Bernier will go to center against number 19, Vikula Shadrin. And Shadrin has it. Shadrin at the Canadian line, trying to stick handle through the defense, but Bernier knocked it off his stick into the corner with Shadrin and Stapleton. Stapleton has it around the boards with Al Hamilton. Hamilton's long pass was intercepted. It's picked off now by Bernier. Bernier going in with Houle, and he couldn't slide it through. He almost lost his balance as he tried to make the pass. Here comes Yakuşev down the left side, the big guy at the blue line. Sidesteps the body check, and then he's caught from behind by Mark Tardif. Tardif to Bernier. Bernier to Stapleton, to Tardif, to back over to Tardif. And they cannot make that play work. There comes Yakuşev. Yakuşev. He shoots, and that's wide of the net. He's got a blazing wrist shot. Mark Tardif around the back of the net to Serge Bernier. Bernier up to the Canadian line, gets by Lebedev. The counting up to the Soviet blue line, tries to work his way through. And he's too tightly tied up. Tried to drop a pass there for Tardif. Back comes Lebedev. Lebedev is stopped. And the Canadians inside their own zone. Trying to work out of there with Jean Houle. Houle trying to break through, but the puck wouldn't come with him. Now it's along the boards, and Hamilton knocks down Shadrin, takes a bump on the forehead as he goes. Here comes Houle, and he couldn't get away. We have 2 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in this first period. It's 2-0 for the Soviets as Lebedev races down the right side. Lebedev in the corner. Turns with Tardif on top of him. Taken by Mальцев. Mальцев with, he's knocked down, still has the puck, however. Great stick handler. Look at this. Puts it right in front of the net. And it's picked off by Canada. Back comes Andre Lacroix, but they're changing on the fly, and he's all alone. He shoots. That goes wide. Back of the net goes Tom Webster. Webster out in front of Lacroix. In front of the shoot. Oh, score! Finally, Tom Webster. Puts the puck in the net on a bit of a play with 2:18 remaining in the period.
Fighting for the puck in the corner. Webster on the doorstep to touch it in, but the Russians played 4 men. They played a man short on a change for over a minute. I was wondering when they were going to wake up.
And with the score of the Soviets 2, Canada 1, this is Game 7 from Moscow.
Good evening.
So, Poe, what fiendish contraption have you devised to pit me against this time?
The pendulum. The principal weapon in a game of deadly accuracy I call pendulum pull. Play.
Butt out.
I win. Pay off, Poe.
Seize him.
Master, look, and you're not crooked. How can I ever thank you?
Forget it.
Pendulum Pool by Aurora. We are experiencing picture difficulties as a result of satellite problems from Moscow. Please do not adjust your sets, as these picture and color difficulties are likely to continue for the duration of the game.
From the face-off, the Canadians come racing right down to Soviet territory. Shot goes wide of the net. Andre Lacroix comes racing back for it. Mальцев picks it up with Anисин. Anисин over the line. He's turned around and is picked off by Bobby Hull. Canadians with new life on that goal. Trying to feed that breakaway pass to Senator Harrison, but it wouldn't work. Now is Shadalov at his own blue line. Shadalov over to Vikkulov. Vikkulov with Mальцев, and he is tied up. Mальцев takes a swing at Lacroix. Now at center. Pass bouncing over the line, and Bobby Hull goes back in after it. Bobby Hull with Rick Lee looking for that pass. There it is to Bobby Hull, but it's a bouncer, and he can't get control. He's been having so much of that kind of trouble out here. At the blue line is Shattalov. Minute 14 remaining in the period. The puck comes out to center. It's held at the line. It's picked up now by Rick Lee, and then he loses it. Back come the Soviets, but the pass was too far. Bouncing off the boards, Bobby Hull. Bobby Hull off the glass with Gordie Howe. And it's knocked away by Vikulov. With a minute to go, they're going in over the Canadian line. He shoots! And that's knocked down by Jerry Cheevers. Gordie Howe has it. Feeds it out to center ice to Bobby Hull. Bobby Hull with the man on his wing. It's Backstrom. Drop pass for Bobby Hull. He shoots! Oh, and Tretchak got his arm on that one. Gordie Howe takes it into the corner, trying to put it out in front. And now there's Gordie Howe losing his stick, tries to hold the Soviet player, but Sigankov gets away and is picked up inside the Canadian zone. This is Petrov. Petrov trying to get a shot, and it's at the blue line. Shadlov shoots. There's a bouncer. They're still jamming at it with 19 seconds to go in the period. And Jerry Cheevers skates out to center ice. Almost. Here's a shot. He's out of the net. And back there to block it was Paul Shmyr with Gordie Howe. Wow, what a gamble that was by Jerry Cheevers. They wanted trying to get one breakaway started there before the period ended. But the buzzer sounds to end the period, and the old hearts are really thumping and pumping at this stage because of what Jerry Cheevers did and by what it almost cost, but a very smart recovery by Paul Shmyr and by Gordie Howe were back there to block an empty net. But the Canadians did get through life with that one goal, and for Webster, that's his second of the series. And with the score, the Soviets 2, Canada 1. This is Game 7 from Moscow.
Folks, you're watching Diane Warner. Not only is she the best softball pitcher in all of Pine Grove, Ontario, but she's one of the very best in Canada. Diane, you may be pretty good, but you only play against girls. Now, I'll make you a bet you can't get one. Just one past me.
Did you bring a bat?
I'm ready. All right, rookie, give me your best shot. I wasn't ready. Or I didn't see it. Same pitch again. Same place. All I can say is it's a lot more fun having an O'Keefe with you, Diane, than it was playing ball against you. What I like about O'Keefe, it's an easy drinking ale. Well, you showed me, and grudgingly, here's to you, Diane.
And here's to you, Paul. You're a great sport.
And here's to you with O'Keefe.
Chevrolet at our intermission studio here in Luzhniki Ice Stadium in Moscow, and it's 2-1 after one period for the Soviet Union. Of course, the other night, a game that many fans are still talking about took place right here in the same rink. Certainly the most violent game of the entire series so far, won for the Soviets 5-2. For his analysis of the action, let's go to Howie Meeker now.
Now pounces on it. Goes in and makes a tremendous pass to Mihайлov. And look at that goal. 1-0 against us. Now let's look at it again. There it goes under his stick. Watch the pass. 3 Canadians heading for him. Look at the speed that he gets the shot away with. This time, watch Harmonov pounce on the puck like a mouse. 3 Canadians take out after him. Now look at Cheevers' position. He could have shot. No way it could have get in. Look at the pass he makes. Cheevers out of position, can't recover. Look at the speed he gets the shot away. Just a tremendous play. Watch this pass off the board to 17. Watch the pass he makes here. This little guy. No, he goes around him. What a deep. We'll play that again, Grace. This is tremendous. This is Harmonov. Look at the shift he puts on Smith. Watch Smith play the puck. When he does that, schools out. Cheevers comes up with just a fantastic save. Here we go again. Watch the long pass. Watch this same little fella, 17, cut. Look at him cut right through the middle. He got a goal like this later in the game. Some hockey player, he bounced that one off the post. Now you'll see the Canadians with the puck. Watch how quick the Russians go from offense to defense. Look at the long pass. Watch who gets it back. Into the middle. Check this here. And look at 19 who started it. Gets the shot. Just misses the net. Canadians again with puck control. right from the face-off, goes into the Soviet end. These fellas go from defense to offense so quick. Watch number 2, Gusef. Make the play up along the wing. They hit the man skating. And who gets it? The guy that had it all night long. Look at the stick work here. The puck went under his heel or he would be home free. Just a tremendous play. All right, the puck goes into the Russian end again. Watch how the same fella, Gusef, pops it out along the boards, jumps over his stick, and here he goes, 13 this time. Look at 17 again, and what a save by Cheevers. Can't beat that. Going for the top corner makes a fantastic save. Look at him behind the net now on Petrov. 3 Canadians. Watch it take a stupid penalty. Look at that. No way. Here we're down. This is the penalty here. Watch the top of your screen, McGregor. Watch Vasilyev's hit him. Wow, what a check, and strictly legal. We're a man short. 5 Soviets swing to the attack. Now again, the Soviets have the puck. Watch McGregor and Vasilyev. This that went to the fighting penalty. Keep your eye on it. Right there. McGregor stick caught in his jersey. No way at all did McGregor fight back. He gets a 5-minute penalty. You know, up until this incident, it was a tremendous hockey game. From here on in, it was all downhill.
Well, that illustrates there was some exciting hockey play despite all the violence in that previous game, and it also points out the Soviets were deserving winners on the night. They deserve to be in front right now, but in shots on goal, they only have a one-shot edge, 11-10 after the first period here tonight. And after the first period, the score is Canada 1, the Soviets 2. This is Game 7 for Moscow.
From Hugh, as he has been officiating for many, many years, as everybody knows, officiated at the World Championships back in 1960, 61, 62, and has been involved in officiating at all levels ever since. I might say that while we're talking about officiating, it reminds me of figure skating officials, which we were watching this afternoon. As a matter of fact, the Russian skating contingent that will be leaving for Canada to compete in Skate Canada with 13 nations at Kitchener on October 24, 25, 26, 27. And of course, those seats should be at a premium because with top skaters, 13 countries coming in, but you'll feature telecast on CTV, and you'll be able to check your local listings for the special times of those telecasts from Kitchener. But we were watching the Russian skaters practice here between the team practices almost every day this week. As we get set now to start the second period, it's going to be Andre Leclerc at center, with Bobby Hull on left wing, Tom Webster on right wing. It's Petrov's line with Mihайлov and Xarlamov. A long shot from center by Ricky Lee. Goes down into the corner. And the Canadians try to move up to keep it in, but they have to come back as Lee is back at his own line, being shadowed by Petrov. Fired off the boards, and it's kind of a loose pass. It's taken by Vasilyev. Vasilyev at center right, taken by Ricky Lee. Here's Rick Lee turning. Rick Lee with Bobby Hull alongside of him. Defeats that pass, but it was intercepted. Put it right onto the stick of a Russian player. Bobby Hull now winding up at center. Back over to Andre Leclerc behind him. Has the puck, puts it in front of the net, and Hull couldn't get to it. Hull goes into the corner. Now Hull around to Leclerc. Leclerc couldn't put the puck out in front. Here it is with Webster waiting for it. And Webster never quite got the puck. Held in by Rick Lee. Leclerc has it over to Bobby Hull. Hull is bumped from behind. Fighting forth there along the boards. They tie it up against the boards and get a whistle on the play. Bobby Hull just must feel like the most crowded man in Moscow, Howie.
Well, Larry had an excellent chance to make a pass to Leclerc on his backhand, but Bobby still has that big hook in his stick, and instead of the pass going on Leclerc's stick and he being in good scoring position, it went well behind him.
Serge Bernier's line is now out there for Canada, and the whistle went before the face-off was done properly. They'll try it all over again. Eugene Houle on the right side with Mark Tardif on the left side. And from the face-off, the puck goes right in front of the Soviet goal, and it's Shuttle-off after it. Jean Houle shadowing him down that left wing, but the puck is put over on the left side. Oh, and shot a blind pass by Bernier. Fired it back to Al Hamilton, and Hamilton wasn't ready for it. Now we have Pat Stapleton starting the Canadians away. His pass over on the right side is taken by Al Hamilton. Hamilton puts it through. Racing in after it now is Serge Bernier. Bernier fighting forward with Sigankov, who comes up with the puck. Here's that long breaking pass at center, intended for Lebedev, but he has trouble controlling it. Russians are playing the full width of the rink. It's interesting as you watch on your screen that they take the full width of the rink, and we have an offside call here. But they take a good look, they'll take a good skate, they'll throw that long pass. I want to remind everybody, too, that far later today on Wide World of Sports, you'll see Canada versus Russia in gymnastics. That's quite a competition. Then, of course, the Canadian Grand Prix and the Canadian Diving Championships from Brantford, all later today on the Wide World of Sports. Back here in Moscow with just a little bit better than a minute and 45 seconds gone in the second period. This is a 2-1 hockey game with Ralph Backstrom stick handling at center. Over to Paul Shmyr, number 18, to Gordie Howe. Howe has it tied up along the boards. And if Howe can't see that he's going to make a play, he'll pin it, and it's a pretty hard man to move off the puck.
I'll tell you, you won't try the second time.
Shadrin's line is out there with Lebedev on the right side. Shadrin gets the draw. Stick handles by Mark Howe. Comes up to the line. Puts the pass right onto the stick of Gordie Howe. Now Gordie Howe put it right back onto the stick, and there's a shot by Yakушев. It was blocked by the goalkeeper, Jerry Cheevers, and it slides out to the line, and finally Lebedev takes it back to center. Back out at center. This is Mark Howe, turning, number 11, with Backstrom on left wing and Gordie Howe on right wing. He shoots, the bouncing puck goes wide. Going into the corner is Mark Howe. Taken in the corner by Backstrom. Backstrom looking in front of the net to Gordie Howe, and his shot hit an ankle and came out. That's Rick Smith putting it onto the stick. Lebedev at the Canadian line, trying to work his way in, but it's Gordie Howe back at the Canadian net. Howe. Left wing pass over to Mark Howe. Mark Howe at center. Back over on the left side. Backstrom cutting right in front of the net. He shoots. Scores! Ralph Backstrom on a beautiful passing play with Gordie and Mark Howe.
Watch the youngster backhand a pass. That's the mark of just tremendous talent. Backstrom puts it between Tretchek's legs, and once again Tretchek's waving the stick. This kid has played tremendous hockey all through the series, but look at that. A backhand pass in the air over a defender's stick. That in itself is a masterpiece that deserves to be finished off like that.
And with the score, Canada 2, the Soviets 2. This is Game 7 from Moscow.
Come on, Larry, let's get the show on the road. We've been all over the place. What kind of affairs are going to be without the O'Keefe caravan? This is their dressing room, office, PA system.
Okay, wise guy. You find it.
Turn left here. Sorry. Guess we should have turned right. The O'Keefe caravan will go to any community event, if you'll tell us how to get there. Just give us a call at Sport O'Keefe.
And we're ready to go now. It's a brand new hockey game with 17 minutes and 2 seconds left to go in this second period. Canadians putting the puck inside their own zone and losing control of it. Russians have to come back out to center. But it's a 2-2 hockey game, and it's shot in their offside as the Russians are trapped. Mальцев was hurting in the last game, and there was some word that he would not play. He has not been taking every shift. He's been alternating and taking a bit of a breather. That was Jimmy Harrison who got the draw. Fires it back over on the left side to Rick Lee. Lee out to center ice to Harrison. It's rolling. Paul Henderson going in after it offside.
Just before Howe made that just beautiful pass for Backstrom's goal, he come up through center, and there were two Russians, one on either side of him, and they took out after him. And this young kid just turned on the burners and outskated them both and had a pretty good shot at Tretchek. This is what we need, young legs, fast skaters.
And it's Rick Lee at center ice. The pass over on the right side with Johnny McKenzie. McKenzie takes the pass, putting it back out in front. He shoots. They bang at it, and Tretchak holds it out, and they shoot it down the ice. And the Canadians were robbed once more. They had him down and reaching for the puck. Back comes Rick Lee, starting out in front of his own net. The pass on the left side to Jim Harrison. Harrison at the line. He shoots, and Tretchak juggles the puck. Finally holds on, then he's knocked down by Harrison. I can't honestly tell whether he did that on purpose or not, but maybe on the replay you can tell whether... I think he could have stopped.
Watch again, this great pass. Right on his stick. Yes, he put it right between his legs. Tretchak lifts the stick. But, gee, McKenzie just made a fantastic pass to Harrison, and Harrison got it up high because Tretchak had to go down. And it just hit the top of his pad. Instead of popping in the air and over him, it fell in front of him, and then the Russians cleaned out.
So it's a 2-2 hockey game as Petrov faces Andre Lacroix for the faceoff. In the corner, it's Mihайлov, and he was throwing a breakaway pass to Petrov, who was floating out at center ice. Now, that's a bit of a strategical switch for the Russians because they usually do that when they're up a goal or two, but here they are, tied 2-2, and they had two men floating at center looking for a breakaway pass. Andre Lacroix with Bobby Hull trying to get him to draw. He does. Right here, Bobby Hull tries to get a second shot. They bang at it. And it went by the goalpost. Another shot. That's wide. Bobby Hull gets the second chance. He shoots again. That's turned aside by Tretchak. Back out to the line, and it hits Mihайлov. He didn't hit him. Must have gone right by him. Goes all the way down to Canadian territory and is called back for icing. I thought that hit Mihailov's stick.
Johnny, before we go any further, you just have to commend Tom Brown because he's a professional and they're acting because they have respect for this young referee. I haven't seen one act of violence that could lead to a shamazel.
Bobby Hull shooting, the puck is loose in front of the net. Hull is being held. The shot trickles through. The Russian defenseman had lost his stick, and then he held Hull before he could shoot. Back comes Mihайлov down the left side, and Al Hamilton is over there to break it up with Pat Stapleton. At center, the pass hit a stick, and it'll go all the way down, so it won't be icing, as Petrov picks it up. Petrov with Mihайлov. Mihайлov. And his forward pass out to center ice, and that should be offside. It is, as Xarlamov was well over the center red line, and the puck came from behind the Russian blue line. Anison opened the scoring at 1:41 gone in the opening period from Lutchenko. And Tюрин from Lebedev at 13-13 made it 2-0. And Tommy Webster from Lacroix. There you see the Canadians back cheering them on out there. Webster from Lacroix at 2:18 in the first period. Then Backstrom from Gordy and Markow with 3 minutes gone in the second period. And that's the 2-2 hockey game. Here comes Paul Shmyr with Mark Tardif. Tardif number 22. Tardif's pass on the wing to Serge Bernier was off his stick. Now it's the Soviets. Here's Shadrin getting center in front of the net. They're loose. They're wide open. They bang at it. Here's another shot. They bang another one. And the goalkeeper was down, and somehow that puck stayed out. And there got to the net. It's intercepted now by Paul Shmyr. Shmyr can't get that puck out. The Russians take over again. It's Lebedev, and he puts it out on the stick of Paul Shmyr. Shmyr out to Mark Tardif. And the Canadians had two close calls there. Wow. Now Houle bumping into Yakuşev. Helps keep that puck inside Soviet territory, and the Soviets go it all the way down, and that'll be called back for icing. Rajon Houle is pretty effective with that hip.
Certainly is. And this Lebedev, watch him here. That's number 11. I think he'll come up with the puck. There's the pass to him. Now look at how he hangs onto it and hangs onto it. And Cheevers just made a great save in all kinds of traffic. That Lebedev made a great play. And if we go a little further, now watch.
Okay, we're back out at center ice with J.C. Tremblay. A crossover to Ricky Lee. Lee's on the side. His pass intended for Gordie Howe is deflected into the corner. Then Howe is really knocked down here by the Russian player, and the Russians are going to be penalized. The Canadians have control. Play carries right on. Gordie Howe puts it back to the blue line. It bounces, and it goes wide of the net. It's taken again by the Soviets, and the whistle finally blows, and the Canadians will have a man advantage. And with the score, Canada 2, the Soviets 2. This is Game 7 from Moscow.
The Quebec Nordiques, the Toronto Toros, the Winnipeg Jets, the Edmonton Oilers, and the Vancouver Blazers will all be in one division of the WHA, the Canadian division. Add this special interest to the kind of WHA action provided by stars like you're seeing now, and you'll know why season's tickets are in great demand. To get your tickets to WHA excitement, call your local team office now. It's going to be a great year in the WHA. Make sure you're a part of it.
Canada has taken 37 penalties, and the Russians have just taken their 22nd penalty as Lutchenko is in the penalty box. And Canada will now have a power play. They'll have J.C. Tremblay with Bobby Hull on the defense. Ralph Backstrom will go to center with Mark Howe on left wing and Gordie Howe on right wing. And from the draw, it comes back to the line. Here is J.C. Tremblay shooting, and Tretchak grabs that one. Ralph Backstrom in for the face-off again against Petrov. Gets it. No, the puck is in a maze of legs there. Finally, they jam it out and into the corner. Sigankov has it. Sigankov, he takes it and pins it against the boards. And Ralph Backstrom goes to try to knock him off the puck, but the whistle had already blown. The last time they did that in this series, left the Russians holding the puck against the boards. They all backed away and expected a delay in the game penalty to be called, but it wasn't. So this time, Backstrom just went barreling into him. Gordie Howe on right wing. Set up Canada's tying goal. What a performer he has been. Just sensational. 46 years of age to be taking on kids who are working 12 months of the year and getting in condition. Here's the draw back to Bobby Hull. Back across to Tremblay. Tremblay getting it back to Hull. Hull getting set. He shoots. Where is it? Underneath the goalkeeper, and the whistle blows, but the puck is out in front of the net. It was lost momentarily by the referee, and as a result, the whistle blew. They finally, after so many tries, got Hull set up.
That's right. I think this is the first time I've seen J.C. on the power play, and the problem is Hull has been getting the shots. This time, J.C. fed him a great pass.
And here it is, back again, over to J.C. Tremblay. Tremblay moves in, he shoots, scores! Tremblay! With Gordie Howe parked in front of the net. Somebody might have tipped that one, and Canada goes on top for the first time.
Back to Tremblay, and watch Mark Howe drifting in front. Quite sure it was number 11, Mark Howe. We'll look at it again. We win the draw, which you have to do. Gordie feeds it back to J.C. J.C. through a maze of players, and there's his son cutting in front, tips it, and between the legs and under the stick.
Given the goal to Mark Howe with Tremblay getting the assist, and Gordie started the play. He's got to get an assist on it as well. So Mark Howe from Backstrom, released from Tremblay, and here we go again inside the Russian zone with Canada leading by a score of 3-2. And now they come roaring back at center ice. This is Xarlamov. Xarlamov. He is knocked down hard. There's going to be a penalty called here. A hooking penalty against Canada. Canada will now be a man short for the first time in the game. Russians have taken one penalty. Canada scored on it. Now it's past Stapleton.
I'm not so sure this is a hooking penalty. There's someone in there doing a little head hunting, and Xarlamov come out of this mess here adjusting his helmet. Perhaps the penalty was given for hooking, but I would say that high sticking was the thing that sort of hurt that number 17.
That's Stapleton into the penalty box. Now we'll have Mark Howe with Ralph Backstrom, J.C. Tremblay, and Rick Lee to try to kill off the penalty. Canada leading 3-2. And from the face-off, the puck comes out to center right. It's Xarlamov, number 17. Xarlamov at the line, over to Petrov. Petrov back to the blue line. Here's Gusef. He shoots, scores! Gusef. That's a great shot. There you see it go around Lee. Now look at, see, they draw everybody to him. Cheevers is where he should have been, at the top of the crease. Goes around Lee here, maintains control of the puck. Right there, beats Baxter as well. Now watch Gusef move into the slot where everybody just vacated. A shot from well out, but Cheevers is set for it. Just has to be a real good shot, that's all.
So on consecutive penalties, consecutive power play goals are scored, and we now have a 3-3 hockey game. And for big Alexander Gusef, that's his 4th goal of the series. 12:28 remaining in the period. The play is deep behind the Canadian net. It's J.C. Tremblay trying to bring that long pass out. He does over to Webster. Webster racing up to the blue line with Lacroix. Trying to pull his way through. He is pulled down. And play carries right on. Back up inside that zone. This is Gusef, a good defenseman, a good puck carrier. Stopped by Ricky Lee, but he doesn't get it out. Xarlamov has it. Put it out for score! And Mihайлов on a beautiful passing play.
Never see a better one than this. Just watch this goal. Canada had it. Didn't get it out. Watch this. Bang, bang, in. Oh, boy, what a goal. Let's look at it again. There we had a chance to get it out off the heel of the stick. Look at 17 on a bullet. Look at here. There's the goaltender. Caught on the short side. Just a goal that you'll read about. Perfect textbook goal, that one.
Now the Soviets are ahead 4-3. 2 goals in 39 seconds. Inside the Soviet zone, back comes big left winger Mihайлov at the line, trying a drop pass now for Lebedev. Lebedev shoots, then goes wide of the net. Inside the blue line again, it's Sikonkov. He shoots, and that's kicked out by Jerry Cheevers. Starting out slowly with it, it's Mark Tardif. Tardif on a rink-wide pass for Rajon Houle. Houle up here with Pat Stapleton. Back to Houle, and he wasn't ready for it. Here goes Al Hamilton shooting it in from long range. 11:25 remaining in this second period. Puck is taken by Whitey Stapleton. That shot was juggled by Tretchak. Vasiliev dumps it out to center ice. Good move by Shadrin. He is finally stopped, and the play comes out to the line with Serge Bernier. Back to Stapleton to get organized. Over to Al Hamilton. Hamilton ahead to Houle. Houle has to wait because Bernier was offside. Poke check. The puck is knocked loose as Mальцев comes back. Mальцев takes a shot. Cheevers goes down, and then he blocked the shot that came. It's Bernier. Ahead to Houle. Houle over the line, and he can't get control of it. The Russians are now... Oh, there's being a penalty being called here. Mальцев. Way down the other end of the rink. The interference call against Mальцев. Play had already passed him by, but he was tying up somebody behind the play.
Curtis had possession of the puck outside the Soviet blue line. He just hesitated. If he'd have put it in, we'd have been outside. Well, Mальцев took it away from him and went end-to-end, and Cheevers had to come up with a great save. You're better to get an offside call to give the Russians the puck.
Bobby Hull with J.C. Tremblay. Backstrom at center with Mark Howe on left wing and Gordie Howe on right wing of the power play. Turin is out there in defense with Vikulov. Coming out now with Xarlamov. Backstrom gets the draw, kicks it across to Gordie Howe. He fires it across on the open wing. Mark Howe trying to hold it in, and it's taken and cleared down the ice. This is Xarlamov. Xarlamov going inside the Canadian zone, but he's tied up at the side of the net by J.C. Tremblay. It's Bobby Hull with Mark Howe. Over the line to Backstrom, but he's called offside. Failing to cover. Mihайлov in front of that Canadian net is deadly, and that's all he needed was just a split second to get a stick in the puck, and he put it in the net as he does so well. For Mihайлov, that's his 4th goal of the series. Tremblay feeding it through to Backstrom. Backstrom trying to get that pass set up. He's tied up. Gordie Howe goes in to help out. Howe has it. It's around the back of the net. Turin has it. Now Turin gets by Mark Howe.
Back come the Soviets. Leading up, then break away to Vikulov. Vikulov, they go in, the shot. High over the glass. And it's picked off back here by Ralph Backstrom. Backstrom with Bobby Hull. Hull getting set. He shoots. Oh, and Tretchak juggled that one. A great shot by Bobby Hull that Tretchak juggled and finally held on to.
Tюrин was right dead in line, and we saw Bobby Hull draw back and shoot the puck. He started to fall, and I'm sure he thought he was going to get a piece of it, but the puck went with such velocity it was between his legs and on Tretchak before he could get down. But certainly with the Russian team defending against the power play, you see how quick they get that puck up. As soon as they get it deep in their own zone, there's a 2-on-1 break, even with a man short.
We have a minute and 6 seconds left in the penalty. Bobby Hull at the point, over to Mark Howe. Russians trying to break it up. Mark Howe has it in the corner. He's being tightly tied up, has the puck, gets it back out in front, trying to get it to Gordie Howe, back to the blue line to J.C. Tremblay. Tremblay over to Howe, they shoot, they bang at it. Loose in front of the goal. They shoot. Oh, and it went by the corner as Gordie Howe missed on a great opportunity. Oh, and the Russians ice the puck. Sigankov takes the big swan dive, but the referee pays no attention to it, and play carries right on. Here comes Bobby Hull down the left wing. He'll get a shot away here. Oh, if he doesn't wait too long, and he did, he put it into the skates. Mark Howe is hit. Puck is tied up against the boards as Backstrom is doing a bit of a shoving.
You'll watch now, I'm sure the Russian coach has said on the Canadian power play, take the shot away from Bobby Hull. Number 16, Petrov, was cheating on the box in that power play. He was within 5 feet of Hull all the time, and that resulted in Gordie Howe getting an excellent chance in front of the net. Has to be something wrong with his wrist when he gets that type of shot and misses the way he missed there. There's something wrong.
24 seconds left in the Russian penalty. Jimmy Harrison goes to center. Henderson on left wing. Johnny McKenzie on right wing. And linesman Jim LeBlanc waves them both out of there. He gave them 2 opportunities to face off properly, and they didn't. That's 4. Watch McKenzie having a battle over along that face-off circle. The draw comes back to the blue line. It's held in by Al Hamilton. It hit a stick and went high into the corner. Now Paul Henderson in there fighting for it. Knocks Sigankov down. The puck is in underneath them. And they get a whistle on the play. Don't forget tomorrow's game will start at the same time as today's game. Networks were able to arrange the earlier times here in Moscow, and the Soviets and Team Canada most cooperative because of football games on each day as well as hockey. Here comes Johnny McKenzie putting it into a pair of skates. He tried to slide the pass through. Here it is in front again. And the puck is loose. They kick it away and clear it down the ice. 3 seconds left to go in the Soviet penalty, and Pat Stapleton goes back of his own net. Now the Soviets are at full strength. Here comes Paul Henderson racing down the left wing, trying to put the brakes on. He does. Throws it back across in front, and it's knocked loose into the corner by Al Hamilton. Hamilton has it. Hamilton trying to put it in front of the net, and he can't get it. We have 8:21 remaining in the period. It's a 4-3 hockey game with the Soviets leading. And Lebedev winds up at his own line. At center. He's stopped by Johnny McKenzie. McKenzie tries to slide it through to Jim Harrison, and it wouldn't go. Sigankov on a rink-wide pass to Shadalov. Intercepted by Whitey Stapleton. Stapleton with Bobby Hull, and Hull goes in. But Harrison was in there ahead of him offside.
Just a tremendous hockey game with going end-to-end, great goalkeeping at both ends, tremendous passing, and the Canadian team now is starting to skate. If we can keep skating with these Russians, it's going to be a dandy.
Bobby Hull's pass to Lacroix at center ice. The Russians are really checking tight now. Bobby Hull comes in to get it a second time. But the Russians are back there to pick it up once more, and Lacroix takes it. Andre Lacroix back to Bobby Hull. Hull shoots. That was partially blocked, but he got his shot away and went wide of the net. Back come the Soviets, led on that left side by Anison. Anison puts the rink-wide pass across for Kapustin, but it was off. At least it would have been offside. It was way off the target, and the Canadians clear. Andre Lacroix, stick handling beautifully, turning at center to kill off. Now it's over to Paul Shmyr. Shmyr's check. And the puck comes back out to Lebedev. Up here with Wikulov. Wikulov tries to skate his way through, and he can't do it. Now it's Bobby Hull with lacrosse taking the pass at center. And he's got Webster on the right wing. Webster trying to work his way in front of that net. Back out in front to Hull. And it's back to Shmyr. Shmyr shoots. That hits the leg and goes wide. On the left side to Mальцев. Mальцев trying to get away from Webster, and he does, around the boards. Out to Shmyr and all the way down. Seems to me that they're concentrating so much on those plays, they don't call that one offside. Concentrating so much on getting that puck to Bobby Hull that they're missing chances to shoot themselves. Here comes Lacroix being stopped at the blue line. And Bobby Hull is back there with Shmyr, with Rick Smith. Back over to Bobby Hull, off the boards, racing in after it. Hull, but it's offside. It's called back for icing.
You know, one of the most interesting things that I've noticed here in Russia is that when a Russian player makes a bad pass, like Anison did to Mальцев, it's the same as in Wembley Stadium in front of 100,000 people when there's a bad soccer pass. They appreciate or are so good, are so used to people making good passes that they actually boo a bad pass.
After the face-off, the puck is turned aside in front of the goal. Shot around the boards to Réjean Houle. Houle is coming up in front of his own net. Now he's a good skater if he gets in stride. There's that forward pass, trying to breakaway pass there to Bernier. It's onside, and Bernier's trying to put it back to the blue line, but it's knocked down by Rick Lieb at center ice. Rink-wide pass again for Mark Tardif, but it was way up in the air. The Soviets take it on the backhand side. Petrov turns it around, but it's picked up now by Réjean Houle. Réjean Houle is being checked from behind by Mihайлov, and the puck goes to center. Russians are coming back like a house afire. Here comes Rick Lee off the boards to Tardif. Tardif racing in, trying to get it in front of the net. A backhand shot. That does not get through as it hit a leg. Over to Réjean Houle again in the corner. And it's cleared over on that left wing with a breakaway pass down that left side. Here comes Xarlamov, puts the brakes on, dumps it in front of the net. And Petrov couldn't get to it. 22, Mark Tardif. Tardif trying to work his way out. Stick handles to his own blue line. At center, dumps it in. It's in there with Mark Tardif. Here's Bernier. Bernier in front, he shoots. Hits the side of the net as he let a low quick shot go. Ricky Lee goes in to keep it in, puts it back out in front. Here's J.C. Tremblay right over the top of the net. And Houle puts it in front. That hit a stick back out in front to Bernier. Bernier had a blazing shot, and Tretjak stopped that one. This Bernier is going to wind up, he'll never sleep again. The shots he's missed. Here's a shot that's in front, and it's just wide of the net. Back again comes Mihайлov for the Soviets. Mihайлov racing out at center. Picked off now by Mark Tardif. Tardif pulls it by one, gets by another. He's tripped, and the play carries right on. Back come the Soviets. Led at center ice now by Mihайлov. He shoots a low shot. Then he races to the benches. They're changing on the go. Now the Canadians clear it down the ice, and that'll be called for icing.
Johnny, as this game progresses, the more and more I realize that the lack of bodily contact is acted in our favor. So many times now, the Russians, instead of finishing the check and taking us off the puck, are coming one-handed, pulling up, and we're getting good play after good play because they're not checking.
Right from the face-off, Jerry Cheevers catches it and throws it to Stapleton. Stapleton up on the right side with Tardif. Back to Gordie Howe. Head on the wing, and this time it's Backstrom to Stapleton. They lose control of it. Back out in front. Shadrin shoots. Oh, and a great save by Jerry Cheevers. Mark Howe races down that left side at the blue line. Tries to get by Sigankov. He's got Gordie in front of the net, and the shot was too high for him to hit. Back at the blue line. Here comes 2-on-2. The Soviets led by Sigankov. Looking for that left wing pass. There's a shot. Hit the goal post. Now it's Mark Howe tying him up. Gordie Howe ties up another. Puck comes out to the blue line to Lebedev. Lebedev shoots, and that's blocked by Mark Howe. Howe carries it into the corner. He knocks down the Russian player, Kapustin. Taking it off now is Al Hamilton. Hamilton's rink-wide pass, and nobody there. 3 minutes and 22 seconds left to go in the second period. The Soviets leading 4-3, offside at the Canadian line.
We just saw a bad pass on that 3-on-2 rush where Shadrin threw it to Kapustin.
but it hit Kapustin's skate at such an angle that it was up on his stick, just lightning fast, and he let a shot go, and it hit the post on the short side. It should have gone in. Lots of room for it to go in, but didn't. But the way he put that puck from his skate to his stick and shoot it, they're pretty good with their feet.
Sergei Gushin, the Russian linesman, drops the puck. And the Soviets now with 3 minutes and 13 seconds left in this second period, and they lead. Oh, a beautiful hip check there by Paul Henderson sent Anison sprawling. Now with Vikulov coming back at center. It's taken by Shmyr. Shmyr is McKenzie. McKenzie ahead. At the line is Harrison racing in. Taken by Mальцев around the back of the net, intercepted. This time by Johnny McKenzie over to Shmyr in front of the goal. They shoot. It's blocked. It's a loose puck. And it's cleared to the line, but not out. Here comes Vikulov down the left wing. The Soviets really came close that time to having one scored on them. It's offside. Backstrom, Howe, Gusef, and Mihайлов doing the scoring in this period.
Team Canada's beginning to use the same tricks the Russians have. Here's that check. Wow. Henderson checking and checking extremely well. But just a moment ago, Team Canada carried it in deep, and Shmyr snuck in the slot and had a real good shot.
2 minutes, 35 seconds left in the second period. Now it's Bobby Hull after a loose puck. Turning. Leaves it back here for Rick Lee. Lee in front of his own goal. Forward. Dangerously close in front of their own goal, but it's now taken and clear to the line, and finally out to center. They've got that man sitting up there. It's Xarlamov with great speed. Xarlamov trying to get around J.C. Tremblay. He tried to drop a pass there for Petrov, but Petrov wasn't there. Now it's J.C. Tremblay with Hull winding up on the wing with Lacroix. At center ice. Here's Tremblay shooting. Shot is caught and held on by Tretjak.
I thought that pass from Hull to Lacroix. Lacroix was right up through the middle, and he just missed it. I thought he was home free, Johnny. He just got a little excited.
From the draw, it's back here to Webster. Webster shoots, and Tretjak got his stick on that one. Ricky Lee races in for it. It's around the back of the net. Lee with Lacroix. They hold it against the boards. Now look at the... I did not see that. Was that steering? They're claiming steering. There's Mihайлov, number 13, racing in. The Russian player went down. Petrov, number 16. Tom Brown, the referee, was right there on top of the play. I don't know if there's a replay on that, or we can get that back because we'd like to see it. The Soviets will not replay on their machine anything except the goal, so we have our own machine that sometimes we can replay for you on things that are not otherwise shown. But apparently we don't have this one. Minute and 39 seconds remaining in this second period. The play comes out to center ice. It's Yakушев. Yakушев with Shadrin. Shadrin is bumped in there by Rick Lee. And is taken by Bobby Hull back of the net with Rick Lee. Lee back over on the corner. Dumps it out to J.C. Tremblay. Tremblay racing down the right side. The pass goes right through. Sigankov got a stick on it, and Shadalov clears. It's going to be held in by Lee. Here's Rick Lee. He gets a shot, bouncing it in front, and it's grabbed by the defenseman Shadalov, and he holds on for the whistle. In this period, Bill Hunter, the team manager, will talk to Don Chevrier. We'll show you the microwave system that carries the signal from Moscow to Canada sometimes, and we'll show you Howie Meeker's analysis of this second period. On the face-off, it's shot back into a maze of legs. This is Charter fighting for it, but he can't get loose.
Tardif still scraps for it. Puts it onto the stick of Yakushev. Yakushev has it. He clears it out to the line. 54 seconds remaining as we have Lebedev coming in front of that net. And the shot is blocked and held out of there by Al Hamilton. Al Hamilton, playing his first game over here, is a 28-year-old veteran. Doing a great job for Canada tonight. There you see 49 seconds remaining in the second period with the Soviets leading by a score of 4-3. High shot hits the stick and goes into the corner. That's Hamilton fighting for it. Who loses control as Yakushev has it, and Hamilton bumps him along the boards. Yakushev still has it. Hamilton bumps him a second time and then comes up with the puck. Puts it out of the stick of Tardif. Tardif with Lacroix. Lacroix with Bernier. Here we go, racing in. The puck is loose. And we have 25 seconds to go. Canadians inside Soviet territory. There's Bernier. Rink-wide pass intercepted. Jean Houle trying to put it away. He ties up the Russian player too tightly. And it's Mark Tardif coming up with the puck. Over on the wing to Jean Houle. Houle shoots! That's wide of the net. Going in the opposite corner, it's Shadalov with the buzzer sounding to end the second period. So this is a period where Canada finally took the lead after Backstrom had tied it. Howe put him ahead. Howe tied it, then Gusef and Mihайлov came roaring back to tie it up and put the Russians ahead again. And that's the way it is at the end of the second period of play. By far the best game of the series over here in Luzhniki Stadium so far. Mihailov's goal coming at the 12:01 mark in this second period, and that's what has given them the lead. Shots on goal by Canada, 13, and by the Soviets, 7. So it gives you quite an indication of the advantage Canada had, but Tretjak was beating them. And so with the score, the Soviets 4 and Canada 3, this is Game 7 from Moscow. 4-3 hockey game, 20 minutes to go. Game number 7 is Ralph Backstrom against Petrov. And Vladimir Petrov poked that puck through with Al Hamilton coming back for Canada. Leading it to Backstrom, and they can't get going. So as they're checking very close in the early seconds of the third period, it's Whitey Stapleton back of his own goal. Trying to get ahead now with Gordie Howe down the right side. The pass is intercepted, picked off by Howe. Howe tries to slide it across, and it's bouncing, so nobody can really get control of it for the moment. This is Al Hamilton taking Mihайлov into the boards. Mihайлov still has the puck, is bouncing high in front of the net. And Jerry Cheevers came out to try to knock it away. Here comes Backstrom down the left wing with Mark Howe racing in, trying to get by, and he can't do it. A good check there by Vasiliev, a fine defenseman. Gordie Howe has it. He slides it high, and it hit a stick and bounced high into the air and was caught by Sidelnikov, the backup goalkeeper. Gil Graton, by the way, is Toronto Toros is the backup goalkeeper for Team Canada tonight. Now we have Shadalov coming out on defense, along with Sigankov, Yakushev, Shadrin, and Lebedev, the forward line. It's Lacroix, Hull, and Webster for Canada. On defense, back there after it is Ricky Lee, along with J.C. Tremblay. Lee, back of the Canadian goal. Starts out with it. Looking for the pass on the right side to Webster. Webster back to Lacroix, back to Webster, a little too far ahead. Races into the corner. Puts it out in front, and it's right on to Yakushev's stick. Hull bumps him, but the puck slides on to Lebedev's stick. Here comes Shadrin. Shadrin fakes the shot, and he can't get through as Ricky Lee keeps a good angle on him. Lee over on the wing to Lacroix. Lacroix breaking out with Mark Howe. Crossing over with Webster, and it's too far. Back over on the left side is Yakushev being tied up with Bobby Hull. The puck is loose. Lee, who's been playing a very strong game today, stopped at his own line. Here comes Shadrin. Shadrin puts it onto the stick of number 15, Yakushev. Yakushev is tied up by Tremblay, and Webster clears. Webster to Lacroix. Trying to get Bobby Hull in the clear. He drops the pass here for Webster. Webster goes in, he shoots. That shot hit a stick. Over to Hull in the corner. Hull fighting for it with Shadrin. He's tied up along the boards, trying to kick it loose, and they do. It's Shadrin, number 19. Long forward pass that was intended for Mальцев didn't get through. Here comes Bobby Hull. Hull leads it for Lacroix. Lacroix going in over the line. Stick handling beautifully. Looking for the drop pass right in front, and Bobby Hull couldn't reach it. Another shot hits the leg and goes wide. Bouncing puck off the stick of Paul Shmyr. Goes all the way back into Canadian territory. Both teams are changing, but Bobby Hull is seeing a lot of ice time tonight. The pass over on the wing to Bernier. Bernier to who intended there. Too far behind him. Vikilov to Anison. Anison over the line. He turns, looks for the open man, nobody there. Rick Smith now on defense with Réjean Houle around the back of the goal to Shmyr. Shmyr leaves it right around to Tardif. Tardif with Bernier. Bernier breaking in. Got one man back, trying to get to the open man. And Tюрин came back to make the sensational back check and break up what looked like a sure shot. Here's one right on by Mальцев, who's knocked down, gets up and gets another shot away. There's another shot that's wide. Well, those Russians fire him in a volley, don't they? And it's center ice. It's Serge Bernier, but Bernier is called offside.
Perfect example of that Russian strategy that's given their point men a couple of goals tonight. 2 or 3 excellent scoring chances. Anison went over the blue line. Here's the pass just in front of the net. You'll see right here the screen shot. Cheevers makes the good save. Cheevers is playing in the top of the crease in those screen shots, and that certainly helps. But the forward line's going in deep, and then they're waiting for the defense to come up. But Anison threw it across, and Gusef wasn't there, and Team Canada got a good break. The Russians don't even look.
Well, the 2 previous scores here in Moscow, 4-2 in the first game for the Russians, 5-2 in the second game. Right now is 4-3. Face off. The draw is taken by Tardif. Tardif to Rick Smith. Ahead to Réjean Houle. Gusef, a drop pass for Xarlamov. Xarlamov in full stride. A drop pass again for Petrov. And Petrov, a drop pass again for Gusef. Look at that combination. Over to Xarlamov, who takes a great pass, but he was too tightly tied up by the defenseman who knocked him down. Xarlamov with sensational speed puts it out in front. It's bouncing high in the air. It's knocked down. It's taken by Bernier, but you can't knock the puck forward and make the play on it, so the whistle goes.
Never seen anything like that, Johnny. 3 drop passes in their own zone, and the man who dropped the puck first, Xarlamov, went around behind the net, and Gusef shot it to the player in center ice, and he made a drop pass to Xarlamov, who was under a full head of steam. Sure pretty when it works, isn't it?
It is, and there's the face-off with the puck sliding to the corner. Pat Stapleton takes a look. Harrison is at center. The pass off the boards intercepted by Petrov. Petrov attending it for Xarlamov. This could be a delay. It is. Whistle blows as the Canadians fail to clear it quickly. All the WHA teams are all getting in shape, and when this series is over, these players return to their teams and get ready to start a brand new season. Season tickets are on sale at all the clubs, and they've got a lot of hockey excitement for you in the 74-75 year. Here we go with Paul Henderson turning at center. Henderson to McKenzie. Pass was too far. Here we have Paul Henderson again turning at the blue line. Now trying to break his way around. Gusef is getting set. He puts it out in front. Here's McKenzie. Oh, and McKenzie stand on his shot. He tried to lean back on it. Here's another shot by Stapleton. Hits the goalkeeper. He's down. The puck is loose. And the puck goes back in the net with Bernier fighting it again. McKenzie will never, ever come closer. Here is Whitey Stapleton holding it in with Harrison left all alone in front of the net. Now the Canadians come racing back at center. It's Harrison to Johnny McKenzie. Rink-wide pass to Paul Henderson off his stick. Al Hamilton starts Canada away. Here goes Henderson. It's off his stick, and he races in after it. Goes into the corner. It's a 4-3 hockey game. 14:52 remaining. Long, high shot. Mihайлov goes down into the Canadian zone, and he's tied up there by Al Hamilton, and the whistle blows.
Well, McKenzie, watch, just had a glorious opportunity right here. And kids, it's the hook stick. The puck went right underneath the toe of his stick. Now watch, it'll come out to him. Look at there. Underneath the toe of his stick as he leaned one way. Lots of room to put it in.
Now the face-off comes hopping Dropping back to the blue line. Shatalov's shot is blocked by Jerry Cheevers. I don't suppose there's any way of saying that people really didn't appreciate how good Jerry Cheevers was till they seen him in this series, because we knew how great he was. But hasn't he been sensational?
Oh, he sure has. He's been, I think, instrumental in just keeping every game as competitive as it has been.
Gordie Howe in the corner for Canada. Fighting for it, loses to Lebedev. It comes right out in front. Here's a shot. Deflected in front of the goal as the man was left open. Here's another one that's deflected, this time taken by Mark Howe. Mark Howe staying center. Has to turn to go back in. Gordie Howe open on the right wing. Mark Howe stick handling with it. The pass up on the left wing. Going in with it is Backstrom. Backstrom trying to get set. Backstrom across to Tremblay. Tremblay in front of the net, and he was knocked down. Now Yakушев and Backstrom are having a bit of a go. Here we go with Tremblay. At the line. Puts it back in front of his own goal to get Lee started away. And he put that into the skate of Ralph Backstrom. He's getting very close checking, a little bit sloppy right now. And they're checking very close. This time it's Mальцев coming back for the Soviets, trying to start them and get them lined up. Шаталов with Backstrom going around the back of the net. It's Mальцев for the Soviets. Blocked in front of the net. Here's Stacey Tremblay. Over to Backstrom. Backstrom. Oh, and he slid it right off the stick. The shot scored! He got the rebound. His own rebound. After losing the puck, he turned around and picked it up and got a backhand shot into the net.
Let's look at it again, where he has a chance to get the shot away, misses, but look at the Russians not checking. Here, in the previous two games, they'd have had Backstrom right in the seat of his pants. And this is what I said all along. They're fishing for the puck, giving us every opportunity to make great plays.
And with the score, Canada 4 and the Soviets 4. This is Game 7 from Moscow.
Believe me, when we light the Olympic torch on this site in 1976, everyone will share in Canada's pride. You and I can help participate in Canada's first Olympic Games and make them a great success by buying these beautiful sterling silver Olympic coins. 7 sets of 4 coins each are being issued. Series 2 is available now. Order your coins today. The minting is limited. Olympic coins are available at banks, financial institutions, and authorized coin distributors.
A 4-4 hockey game.
Scoring for Team Canada was Ralph Backstrom, number 14, assisted by Bobby Hull.
Bobby Hull gets the assist in Ralph Backstrom's goal. And now it's a 4-4 hockey game. The Soviets with Vikulov leading the play into Canadian territory. It's Anison in the corner with it. And Canada will now really have to hustle because usually they let down after they score. This time it's Rick Smith. Ahead out to center ice. The pass intended for Andre Lacroix was too far. The Soviets with Mальцев at center. Pass over on the right wing. Pass for Vikulov. He's knocked down by Hull. The play carries right on. Now it's Paul Shmyr turning inside the Canadian zone. Over to Bobby Hull. Bobby Hull down the right side. Over to Webster, but Webster couldn't get control. Now Lacroix has it. Over to Webster. Back to Lacroix. Back to Webster. He shoots wide of the net. Over on the right side, it is taken by Vikulov with Anison. A 4-4 hockey game. Anison on a drop pass to Vikulov in front of the net. Oh, and the Soviets on a beautiful passing play just missed on the shot. Now we come right back at center ice. It's Vikulov, number 18, at the Canadian blue line. Trying to get set for that left wing pass. Here comes Petrov. Petrov gets set. He shoots, and that's wide. Over on the left wing, it's the defenseman Tюрин. Tюrин loses it, and it's taken by Andre Lacroix. Canadians having trouble getting organized inside their own zone. 11:55 remaining in the third period. It's 4-4. Now Paul Shmyr ahead to Andre Lacroix. Lacroix back to Shmyr. Shmyr passes, he shoots into the corner looking for Webster. They fire it off the boards, and the Russians take over. Mальцев with real speed down that left wing at the blue line. Takes a shot, then it hit a stick and trickled wide, and Whitey Stapleton clears it down the ice. 11 minutes and 25 seconds remaining in the hockey game. It's a 4-4 hockey game with Ralph Backstrom getting his third goal of the series to tie it up. the game will start, as it did today, at 11 o'clock Eastern Time. It's the local listing for the time in your area. From the face-off, it's Whitey Stapleton, back of his own net there for Al Hamilton. To Rajon Houle. Rajon Houle, long pass up here. Oh, and pass was intended for Tardif, but he tried to take it on his skate and missed. Now it's Gusev. Gusev ahead to Xarlamov, but he simply deflected it out to center. Now back comes Al Hamilton with Stapleton. Canadians pressing. Stapleton pass over to Houle, trying to get through, getting set now with Tardif, but it hopped over his stick. Around the boards, this is going to be Al Hamilton shooting. That was blocked in front of the goal. Houle broke that play up as Gusev turns with it. Now, in front of the goal, a long pass to Mihайлov. Mihайлov is stopped, and Canada takes over a game with Rajon Houle. Houle up there with Mark Tardif, but the back pass was not far enough. And Xarlamov comes in. Xarlamov getting set in front. Knocked away by Tardif. Tardif comes back for Canada. Rink-wide pass down the right side. Moving it over the blue line is Rajon Houle. Houle stops. Looks for somebody to pass it to. Gets his own rebound in front of the net. They shoot. Oh, and Tretjak. Tretjak down on both knees. Finds the puck between his pads.
You watch here. Look at the Russians' lack of finishing the check is costing them a goal after goal, or try on goal after goal. Houle was coming down the wing, and Big Gusev normally would have gone and taken them, and it would have ended it all there, but he backed up and started stick checking, and this gives us great opportunity to probably win this hockey game.
Tremblay shoots wide of the net, taken by Paul Henderson. Henderson trying to set it up. There's a shot by Lee. It bounces wide. Johnny McKenzie goes after it, back to Tremblay. High into the corner to Harrison. Harrison puts it right out in front. They jam at it. And it's cleared off by Yakушев out to center ice as the buzzer sounds to end the first 10 minutes of this third period. And with the score, Canada 4 and the Soviets 4, this is Game 7 from Moscow.
Well, Canada has again taken part in one of the great events in hockey history. My name is Paul Rimstead, and on behalf of all of us at Sport O'Keefe, it's been a pleasure to take part in bringing you this great Canada-Russia series. Our compliments to Team Canada. They've proven that they're more than just a bunch of old men. We hope you enjoyed the series and remind you that Sport O'Keefe will be presenting a whole lineup of sports events throughout the year, such as the World Series and WHA hockey. On behalf of Sport O'Keefe, have a good day.
Canadians showing a lot of grit and determination, being down 2-0 in the first 7 minutes of the hockey game. Bounced back to get one in the first. Tied it up and then lost the lead in the second period. Now have it tied up again in the third period with Backstrom scoring from Hull at 6:38. 10 minutes left to go. Game number 7. Nothing has been thrown on the ice apparently as one of the linesmen, Jim LeBlanc, what he's trying to do is pack some ice into a crack on the ice, and that's what's been holding up play at this point. I'd like to remind everybody again that coming up on Wide World of Sports on CTV this afternoon, the Canadian Grand Prix, the Canada-Russia gymnastics competition, and the Canadian diving, the 10-meter diving. There's a change in the penalty, at least on the assist from the goal. Instead of Bobby Hull, it has now been given to J.C. Tremblay. J.C. Tremblay, the assist on the goal by Ralph Backstrom. Now we're set to go with 10 minutes to go in the period. Ralph, there's a high shot by Harris that was over the top of the net, but he was away offside. J.C. Tremblay and Rick Lee have been a good defense combination. And the move of the forward line has certainly paid off with Henderson on left wing, putting Jimmy Harrison at center, and Johnny McKenzie on right wing. Now, this is a calculated risk because McKenzie and Harrison are both considered to be overly aggressive, and that's something they really didn't want today. Now we have Tremblay turning at his own blue line. Rink wide pass at Johnny McKenzie. Traps it beautifully and fires a shot that's just wide of the net. Going in after it is Harrison, bumping with Sigankov. It's taken back of the net again by Henderson. Henderson works it into the corner, tries to keep it in, but it's intercepted and picked up by Yakушев. Yakушев with Shadrin at the line. Going in front of that net, but Shadrin was held at the line just a fraction too long, and Yakушев went in offside.
That was just a great pass that J.C. made to McKenzie over on right wing and put Johnny home free. He had no one else to give it to, though, but this J.C. can handle the puck as well as any of the Russians.
9:23 remaining in the hockey game. Backstrom gets the draw, pulls it right back on front of his own goal, and Paul Shmyr is there to pick it up. Shmyr, ahead to Ralph Backstrom. Backstrom racing down the right side. He slides it through. He gets by Lutchenko, tries to put a drop pass out in front to Mark Howe, and he does. Now it's picked off again, and it's picked off by Vikulov. Vikulov at center. He's being shadowed by Gordie Howe. Oh, and as Ralph Backstrom tried to throw a body check at him, it was hard. Except it was hard on Backstrom. He hit the boards. Point you made earlier in the game, the Canadians have not been throwing their weight around. They've been checking. They've been checking with the stick and checking very close, but they haven't been running at the Soviet players and leaving goals wide open in front of the net. 22 Anison against Ralph Backstrom for the faceoff. 4-4 hockey game, 8:52 remaining. On the draw, taken back here, is intercepted by Mark Howe. Mark Howe with Gordie Howe. Has trouble making that puck stick for him. He takes a body check by Tюрин, and he is hurt. Mark Howe is hurt. Gordie Howe goes over and takes a run at Tюрин. Has the puck to pass over on the right side. They shoot. It's loose in front of the net. And it's knocked down. Goes into the corner. And that was Tюрин again. This time Tюrin, number 32, comes up with it. Ahead to Kапustin. Kapustin down the right side is blocked at center ice. Here goes Shmyr up there with Lacroix. Lacroix getting set. He shoots, and it's wide of the net. Over on the right side is Kapustin. Intercepted again by Gordie Howe. Back across the front, it's intercepted. And out at center ice to Rick Smith. Gordie Howe with Andre Lacroix. Lacroix with Howe. Howe has the player turned around and then shoots the puck into the Russian zone. They're changing players on the fly, and it was quite noticeable that after Mark Howe took that elbow, Gordie came tearing across to take a rap at him.
Here's the elbow right now. Just take a look at it. Oh, I don't know how the referee missed that one, but that's a shocking elbow. And Gordie Howe, just a moment ago, took a look at the situation, analyzed it, and come up with a stray pass.
From the face-off, the puck comes sliding out to center ice. Mark Howe is out, and he's been one of their most effective players. Play is at center, at the blue line, taken by Andre Lacroix. Now Lacroix with Pat Stapleton. Stapleton with Bobby Hull, and Hull had trouble controlling it. Back to Bobby Hull. Hull over to Stapleton. Back to Hull. Hull getting set to the corner. To Lacroix, trying to put it out in front to Hull, but Hull was being held. Now it's down the right side to Mihайлov. Mihайлov with Stapleton back there. He leaves it there for Xarlamov. Xarlamov back to the point, and the point is open. 7:15 remaining in the hockey game. It's Xarlamov. Loses it to Lacroix. Back to, tried to get it back to Hull, and he couldn't. Vasiliev dumps it up high and out to center ice. Hamilton at the blue line, but it was kept onside. Xarlamov comes in with it. Xarlamov overskates it, and it's kicked out to center. Now it's Lacroix with Stapleton. Stapleton racing up the center, and the pass on the side intended for Webster was behind him. This time it's across to center ice again to Stapleton, who's having trouble finding it in his skate. Here comes Mihайлov. Mihайлov shoots and kicked out. There's a beautiful save by Jerry Cheevers, as Mihайлov and Xarlamov were both wide open there. Back comes the play at center ice. This time it's picked up by Bobby Hull. Bobby Hull loses it to Yakушев. Then Hull tried to get it on a second time and missed. The French connection line comes out. Here we have the play out at center. A long pass at the Canadian blue line to Lebedev. Lebedev in the corner is bumped out of the play by Stapleton, and Houle takes it to the corner. Raison Houle to search Bernier. Bernier, this is the line that could do it. Bernier play back to Tardif with Stapleton. Stapleton at his own line, feeds that pass on the right side, intended now for Tardif. Tardif will put it out in front, and he's tied up there. Finally get a whistle on the play. 5:44 remaining in the third period. It's all tied at 4-4.
The Cheevers just made an outstanding save, and here it is right here on the replay. That's Mihайлov hooking and taking the shot. Look at the rebound. He got a bit of it with his stick. That Xarlamov just burst in and picked up the rebound first.
Bernier with Shadrin. Now they're not standing straight on the face-off spots. The referee, Tom Brown, skates in to tell them to straighten it out. They dropped the puck, and the Canadian center wasn't ready for it. This time it's Lebedev coming down the right side. Lebedev is tied up along the boards by Rick Lee. And back after it is Tardif. Tardif with Lee. Back to Tardif. Tardif trying slowly to start out, trying to get that pass ahead to Bernier, but Bernier was over the center red line. He tried to get back on side, but he was tied up by Shadrin. And so when he touched the puck, he was offside. First game ended in a 3-3 tie. Canada won the second game 4-1 in Toronto. Russia won the third game 8-5 in Winnipeg. They tied 5-5 in Vancouver. Russia won 3-2, 4-2, and 5-2. And we're in a 4-4 hockey game right now. Vikulov trying from in close. Tied up by Johnny McKenzie. McKenzie and Vikulov shoving one another. McKenzie held him long enough so that the puck could be cleared to Paul Shmyr. Now Shmyr waiting for somebody to pass it to. It's ahead to Johnny McKenzie. McKenzie at center. He fires a long one into the opposite corner. And he goes around the back of the net where it's taken by Kapustin. Sergei Kapustin in front of his own goal to Lutchenko. Pace has slowed down considerably as they're checking very close right now. The puck goes into Soviet territory. This time it's Paul Henderson winding up inside the Canadian zone with 4:19 remaining. Henderson. And his pass was blocked. This time it's Rick Smith, number 17. Russians are sending one man in, keeping two men back out at center ice, and the defense is staying back. They're not taking any chances. They'd sooner settle for the tie. Here comes Tюрин, number 32. He dumps it. Paul Shmyr. And with Rick Smith, his forward pass is shot out to center. Shmyr takes it again, then loses control of it. And it's Xarlamov who can't get away from Johnny McKenzie. Rick Smith inside the Canadian zone, around the net to Mark Howe, who's back out on the ice. And Mark Howe starts slowly at his own blue line. He's moving up to center. He's flying now as he hits that Russian blue line. But it was Ralph Backstrom offside on the left wing.
Youngster does a lot of things right, Johnny, but boy, he sure can skate. He turns on the speed. He just went right up through the middle and outskated two Russians fairly easy.
Billy Harris actually had dressed Marty Howe as well. He came out for the warm-up, and then he was not listed as one of the 20 starters. Mark Howe fighting for it along the boards in front of the Canadian bench, holds it for a whistle. Fighting for it was Petrov. Russians have a much younger club in average age than does Team Canada. And from the play, it's Petrov going to center, but the play was broken up. Al Hamilton turning inside his own zone, looking for Whitey Stapleton. Now, Hamilton slowly in front of his own net, trying to get away from Mihайлov, winds up at center. The pass is over to Backstrom. Backstrom going in and had it knocked off his stick. Backstrom into the corner, overskated it. Mark Howe is in after it. Now Howe is back to the blue line to Stapleton. He shoots, And that's knocked wide. It's back out in front again. Here's Gordie Howe shooting. Oh, and a great save by Tretchak as Gordie Howe from point-blank range of the pass out from behind the net. Now it's back to the blue line to Xarlamov. He shoots. It's the side of the net. Gordie Howe has it for Canada. Comes Howe to Backstrom. Racing down the right side is Ralph Backstrom. And is taken away from him. It's Petrov back for the Soviets. At the line. Trying to work their way in close. A drop pass. And it goes into the corner, and Al Hamilton knocks it away. 2:24 remaining in the hockey game. Gordie Howe at center. He dumps that pass in. It's right on goal. Intended there for Ralph Backstrom. Now it's back of the goal. And it's into the corner with Xarlamov after it. Xarlamov with Bobby Hull coming out. He shoots it high in the air. Goes down to J.C. Tremblay. Tremblay back out to center to Lacroix. Lacroix racing on the right side. Pass is hitting a stick. And it comes back out to center ice. And the Russians are just shooting it in now with 1:52 remaining in the period. This is J.C. Tremblay. Tremblay back to Pat Stapleton. Stapleton racing up to the blue line. Coming down the right side. The pass is over to Bobby Hull too far. Hull tries to get control of it. Will they pull Cheevers or will they try to play for a tie? Hull goes in to hold Sigankov and he gets the whistle. Jerry Cheevers is now skating over to the timekeeper's bench. The clock, watch it here, the clock runs for 3 seconds after the play. And that's what Jerry Cheevers is complaining about. They ran the clock for 3 seconds after the whistle had blown. And Cheevers immediately left his net and went tearing over because at this stage, the clock shows 1 minute and 28 seconds remaining. And that clock up there, of course, is not necessarily the official one, but Cheevers wasn't taking any chances.
Well, since the 30-minute mark, Johnny, I think Team Canada has played with just tremendous confidence. In fact, as much confidence as they've had at any point in the whole series. There's not much you can do about it. I think that's the type of thing you hope is going to happen, but it does happen, and always when you're away from home.
The referee is asking the clock to start at 1:30, so evidently Cheevers was right. The official has made them move the clock back 2 seconds.
Well, there's two things you need above everything else if you're an official, and that's courage and honesty. And this young man certainly has courage and honesty, and I think he's seen one of the better games in this series, and he's the fella that helped make it all possible. He's just done a tremendous job of officiating, and golly, O'Morgan, I'm glad it's a Canadian that did it.
Well, he's so alert, to be so tied up in that hockey game and all of a sudden recognize that 3 seconds have slipped by the clock.
Yeah, but Johnny, there's officials all over the world who wouldn't have the heart to do what that youngster's doing right now. Not often I've seen it done. Even though the official knows he's right, knows he should do it. That guy's class all the way.
Now the Russian players are coming over to the Russian bench, probably to explain to Coach Galagin. No, he's now calling them. I see him motioning them over. They haven't moved the clock back. They will probably ask them to let 2 seconds go by before they start it, I suppose. That's about the only thing they can do.
Well, Johnny, we talked earlier about Gordie Howe going in home free after Tretchak had made that great stop on Backstrom and having a wide open net, rolling it by the post. I think he'll dream about the one he just missed a moment ago. He had it labeled, and Tretchak is on the way down and hit him.
From the face-off, the puck is taken now by Bobby Hull. He shoots, and that's right on. It's turned aside. The Russians shoot it down the ice, and the Russian player is down on the ice. It's Sigankov.
No doubt about it, Gordie Howe laid on the lumber, but not hard enough for the fellow to go down in pain like that. What Gordie did just then was done 35, 40, 50 times in the game the night before and the night before that. And nobody even, expected to come off the ice or complain about it. Not only are they good hockey players, they're pretty good actors.
Well, here it is here. There's Gordie Howe bumping him along the board. Well, we have 1 minute and 20 seconds left to go in this third period. It's still a 4-4 hockey game. From the Soviet team has brought all the players over to his bench, and the referee, Tom Brown, says, come on over and get started or we're going to drop the puck. Timekeeper, I don't believe, rolled the clock back. It was left at 1:28. I don't know whether they can electronically roll that clock back or whether he was told to hold 2 seconds while play was taking place. We have no way of knowing that up here. Now from the face-off, the Soviets get the draw, and it's taken by Vasilev. Vasilev goes out to center ice. And it's Yakuşev. They'll kill off time now with 1 minute 10 to go. The Canadians have to get their hands on that puck. It's picked off now by Tremblay, who will take time to try to get started. Now it's Tremblay. Over on the right wing to Gordie Howe. The pass to Backstrom. Backstrom inside the Soviet zone. Trying to get that pass across. Backstrom still has it. Backstrom trying to get a shot on goal. He moves in. He shoots and it hits the leg. It's bouncing, but Gordie Howe has it. Howe over to Tremblay. Back out in front. It's picked off by Yakuşev, and Yakuşev clears it to center ice. We have 40 seconds left to go in the hockey game. And this is Lebedev. Lebedev going in on goal. Around the back of the net. Tries to put it out in front. It is taken by Gordie Howe. Howe with 30 seconds to go. They've got the goalkeeper out of the net. Howe shoots. Oh, a blazing shot. Went wide at another shot. Tretьяк shoots. Back out the side of the net. Canada has pulled their goalkeeper. Here's the loose puck. It's coming out to the blue line, and it's out to center. The Canadians have back now with 12 seconds to go. Here's Bobby Hull. Bobby Hull racing to center. The pass to Mark Howe. He dumps it in, and the Russians don't clear. It's taken in the corner with 2 seconds to go. Right in front of the net. He shoots. He scores! He scores! The green light went on. The red light went on, and I don't know if they're going to allow that goal to count. Watch it here.
Howe dumps it into the corner. Henderson, key man again, throws it out in front. It hits 2 Russian players. It's bouncing in the air, and I think it was Bobby Hull got his stick on it. Now when we play it back again, we'll have to look at the light on the back. If the red light went on at all, then I guess it had to be a goal.
Now you see, it looks like they're not going to call that a goal, and Jerry Cheevers is complaining about the 3 seconds that they lost, which is all the difference in the world. Here it is.
Here it is again from another angle. Young Howe throws it in, keeps it in, into the corner. Now watch Henderson throw it out. It's Bobby Hull, all right. Bobby Hull, and now you see how important that 3 seconds turned out to be.
They're not going to allow the goal. It winds up as a 4-4 hockey game. The green light evidently went on before the red light went on. And that means that they have wound up with their 3rd tie game in the series. So despite everything that has happened, despite everything that has been said, and despite the trials and the recriminations, the fact is that 3 of the games, of the 7 games, have wound up as tie hockey games.
The Russian players went out of their way to shake hands with every Canadian player today. Not one of them turned tail and ran off the ice.
Well, this is the fact is, of course, that the red and the green light system that everybody is aware of is a good idea. You know, it's a system that works. Once that time has passed, the red light simply cannot go on if the system is working. However, if you'll recall, and this is something we can only find out by talking to them, that if that 3 seconds was not taken back or given back to the Canadians as they said it was supposed to be, then time would not have run out. And so as the final score is Canada 4, the Soviets 4, this is Game 7 from Moscow.
Гордушкем, что я люблю страну, уверен, что счастье я найду. На юге как вы, и люди, как мы, просто люди. Вот вам Багдад.
Я люблю то, как в Канаде растут сбережения. В Торонто-Доминион банке есть много способов сбережений. И потому что проценты так высоки, сбережения растут быстро. И еще дружественные служащие в Торонто-Доминион даже помогут вам избрать такой сберегательный план, который будет наиболее подходящим для вас. Эх, канадцы, вы, наверное, имеете большое удовольствие наблюдать, как растут ваши сбережения в Торонто-Доминион. Это банк, где люди составляют разницу.
The Olympic coins have just been presented to Xarlamov from the Soviet Union, and here comes Ralph Backstrom to receive his set as the most outstanding player of the game from Lou Lefebvre, Director of Sport Canada. And we'll try to get Ralph Backstrom over there to Don Chevrier and get a possible explanation as to the time factor that occurred during that game. Ralph is now skating off, and we have, we'll get him over to Don Chevrier so that we can find out exactly if he indeed can tell us what happened in the time that was to be relayed. Now, we did have a message relayed up to us that the referee had said that they must allow 2 extra seconds. Kind of like in a soccer game, when the soccer official decides that play has been held up. Here, it was a case of a clock that ran too long. Now, Ralph Backstrom, the assistant captain of the Canadian team, is now on his way over to talk to Don Chevrier. We want to get down to him as quick as possible. Now, the question is, did the red light go on first? Is it possible? According to the videotape replay, and we're going to play this back again, although that won't change anything. It might just make you feel a little bit better, but I see that Ralph Backstrom is now down there with Don Chevrier, so okay, Don.
Right, Johnny. Ralph, what was the explanation given to you out there as to the timing factor?
Well, the referee said the puck went in after the red light went on, after the green.
Game 7 of the Canada-Soviet Series, live from Moscow. Brought to you by Toronto Dominion Bank, the bank where people make the difference. By Gulf Oil Canada Limited, its dealers, agents, and distributors across Canada. By Carling O'Keefe, brewers of O'Keefe Ale and Old Vienna Lager Beer. This is the CTV Television Network.